You know who it is. It's me on what's missing. And guess what? We have another reaction video.
This one is an update on DC Studios' next five films revealed from DC. I thought I'd get more DC because DC is getting more popular now these days, and I do love DC. Let's get into reaction of this video.
Next five films from DC Studios have 100% been confirmed by James Gunn and David Zaslav, the head of WB Discovery. So it's interesting to see that Wonder Woman is the third film coming at us from this point on out. Man, they really are fast tracking that film, aren't they?
Yeah, this is what I don't like about. You think Marvel's bad, DC's even worse. DC don't know how to take their time and build up their movies, man. Um, I did like Superman, the latest installment, but they did mess up a lot of the storyline in Superman, and I feel like they're going to do it with Wonder Woman. They're rushing everything again. I thought they were going to go back to the beginning and start slowly, um, but it seems like they're just doing whatever just to make. They're treating every movie as an individual movie when they should be joining the movies up. So like you got Superman, you got whoever, and like joining the movies up until they have like, for instance, a Justice League where they can have all the characters in these single movies join as one. But it doesn't seem like they're doing that. They seem like they're just. It seems like it's rushed. Even worse than Marvel rushed their stuff. At least Marvel kind of takes their time, and from what we know of their previous movies, they kind of like pick the same actors to do the same roles, and so on and so forth. But DC Studios or the guys that are making all these, James Gunn, whoever it is, I'm assuming it's not their fault because they've been given what they've told to work with, from what I know. But still, it's not good for like the fans. It would work out better if they did take their time and have like certain actors to play certain roles for like at least 5 years, and they can do that. It's possible, instead of doing what they're doing now, which I don't feel like it's gonna do well, in my opinion. It's like flip flopping. I'm got one foot in, one foot out kind of scenario.
So, looking at everything we already know for 100% certainty and fact is the fact that the next film in the DC Studios lineup and output is, of course, Supergirl. Now, for the sake of this video, we are not talking about any of the TV shows, so I'm leaving out Creature Commandos Season 2, obviously. I'm not going to be talking about any of the other cartoon spin offs. I'm not talking about the Lanterns Project. We're just focusing on films. So, with Supergirl being the next film coming at us next June, we of course don't have to wait too long to get the film after that, which is Clayface. Now, the difference between these two films is obviously quite massive, and each one is going to be completely different. One is a straight up superhero film focusing on Supergirl on an alien planet with Lobo. The other is a horror, body horror, I should specifically say, film that's set in Gotham featuring Clayface. Yeah, that's going to be far different than Supergirl. But then what comes after that? Well, with James Gunn hyping up exactly what comes next recently, and the head of WB Discovery, David Zaslav, doing the same thing, we know essentially what the next 2 to 5 projects are. More or less, I say 5 in total. We can kind of gleam at what they've said and go, oh, yeah, that's the exact projects. So let's get into what exactly you're going to be watching.
Flipping out, this is gonna be interesting. So they've gone from Superman to Supergirl. Now, okay, we can kind of get okay. That is okay, I guess. Like we saw Supergirl at the end of Superman, with the dog. Turns out the dog is hers. Yeah. So okay, cool. You got us there. But then the other movie, I forgot what he said. Is it Clay, Super Clay, or something like that? I don't know his name. I can't remember. I'm assuming I've seen him before because I've watched the cartoons of Justice League, and I'm assuming he's in one of the characters. And I don't know. I think they're talking about that guy that's in the movie of Superman as well. With he can transform. He transforms his part of his body into kryptonite. Sounds like they're talking about that character. Um, I could be wrong, but if they are, I think that was a wrong move. They should build up the characters from the Justice League. So we're talking, as I said, Supergirl's a good decision, I guess, in a way. But they should be building up Superman, Batman, just the Justice League that we saw. They should be building up that, and also getting a. There's two lanterns of the Earth, so they should be getting like a White Lantern and a I should say White Lantern, but you know, White Boy colored lantern, Green Lantern white, and we give Green Lantern that is black. Because in the Justice League's cartoon, because it seems like he's kind of following that type of stuff, comic books, the cartoons and stuff like that. We had They had a good storyline when they had like a Black Lantern that was from the hood, a Black Green Lantern, sorry, that was from the hood, um, and the character was played really good, portrayed really well. So they have a storyline for that. There's talks that they've had an actor that it was gonna do that, but it was gonna be a TV show. And then you had like a White Green Lantern as well, and you had them both in the Justice League at the same time. Um, but they should be building up like the Justice League, the original. Is it 5 or 6? You could. It was Cyborg. There was, as I said, Aquaman. Um, Aquaman. There was Wonder Woman. Um, the Flash. And someone else. Cyborg. Like some Cyborg was in there, kind of, and he was also part of Teen Titans, so they could like use different storylines, as I said. But Cyborg was in there, so they can choose to leave him in or out. But they should be building the Justice League, in my opinion, and doing the single movies for them. So I don't know why they jumped from Supergirl, and then they jumped from something else, Clay, whatever it is, and then what they're gonna do? They need to be doing a Batman movie. They need to be doing it. They said they're gonna do Wonder Woman. Cool. Flash. They've really recently done that, so maybe you should push him a bit further back to last. Aquaman. He was quite popular, so you can push him a bit further back and not leave him to last. Do some other characters before that and build them up, and then come near the end, you've got the Flash and the Aquaman, and then you've got the Justice League, and then do a Justice League movie. But they're not doing that. That's the best way I feel like they should be doing these single movies. But they just seem like they're messing around, and it's not good for the fans. Even like I'm a fan, but I'm not interested in. Um, I'm interested in building these movies up better and doing a Justice League that on the big screen that is watchable, because they let us down with over. I know it was over the lockdown, but they let us down with not the first one was all right, but the second one they let us down with, man. I don't know how that was. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on it anyway.
Watching after the likes of, again, Supergirl and Clayface.
Clayface, that's it. It is that guy. I'm sure. I've heard of Clayface
So
before.
obviously, James Gunn has confirmed multiple times that a sequel to Superman, not
That
Superman
guy.
2. James Gunn has confirmed multiple times that a sequel to Superman.
This guy.
So obviously, James Gunn has confirmed multiple times that a sequel to Superman.
This guy here. I'm sure that's Clayface. I think. No, he's not Clayface. Is he Clayface? Something else. Clayface is someone else, actually. There's been times since I've watched cartoons and no individual characters. This is all from like childhood, so bear with me. But he's a good character anyway. I'm sure it's him, but I don't know.
Man, not Superman 2, but a sequel to Superman is going to be happening. So far, they've referred to it as the Super Family Project, which again, fine. But what's interesting about this is that recently James Gunn revealed to us the full treatment of everything that happens in the film is done. He's already began transcribing that into a full script, and he even revealed that after the start of production on the Batman Part 2, a Matt Reeves Elseworld film, that soon after that begins the production of the next Super Family film. Meaning that at the latest, by the end of next summer, they are already in the full swing of production on that project. Which, again, if you look at a timetable, a year and a half to 2 years after that is the release. So, more than likely, you're looking at a summer of 28 release, which is relatively close and around the corner. Now, the other thing that they did confirm months ago at this point, and most recently reaffirmed it, is the fact that Wonder Woman was fast tracked. Other projects were put aside, and Wonder Woman was fast tracked to the forefront. And from everything that they've said, if you look at the words that they use to describe the next Superman film, and when Batman shoots, and when Clayface shoots, we can pretty much look at the evidence and say Wonder Woman will begin production after Superman has wrapped shooting. But what's more important about this is the little film that everybody forgets, Sergeant Rock. Sergeant Rock is also set to shoot next year. And by the sounds of it, it could shoot alongside Superman 2 or Super Family. And this is supposed to be a much cheaper, darker, dingier production, if you will, set during World War II, focusing on Sergeant Rock and more than likely, per all accounts, G.I. Robot. And well, those two will obviously be in a period piece, and it's going to be a completely different beast. So the way that the schedule.
Let me know if I'm talking rubbish or this is just like all over the place, and there's no sense to. You know when people say there's a method to my madness, I don't know what method there is to this. It just seems like they're doing what they want, whatever they want, and it's just going to be like a surprise. So we're just going to give you good movie. Well, we're going to try and give you a good movies, and do what we want and give you a good movie out of it. Like, here's another movie. Here's another movie. Instead of like being strategic a bit more, doesn't seem like they are. Okay, Batman. They've done Superman. They said Supergirl, Wonder Woman, Batman. Okay, yeah, but they need to be building up, as I said before, the Justice League, main Justice League characters, in my opinion, and making a proper Justice League movie. Um, isn't that what is best? Or is it just me? And then if they want to make other movies, venture off and do so, you can, but make sure you get these certain characters going on their way, like set in stone. So they can have the finale, which is just the Justice League.
Is looking right now in terms of films is Supergirl, Clayface, Super Family, Sergeant Rock, and Wonder Woman, probably in a close proximity of release, I would assume. But what makes things even more interesting to me is the fact that if you look a little beyond that, and the projects that they've talked about and teased and said that they're actively working on, you start to understand that it's looking like you're probably going to get 2 films a year and 1 TV series. And there's already been other projects that have sort of been quietly canceled while other ones have jumped to the forefront. Chief among these being Batman Brave and the Bold, which sits in a interesting position and has competition with The Batman Part 2.
I'm confused.
So let's talk about The Batman Brave and the Bold and The Batman Part 2. These products are direct rivals. Yes, they're both a DC Comics, DC.
Yeah, why would there be I don't get it. I'm confused. Why would they be rivals? This sounds like a confusion. Yet again, with these Marvel, DC studios or whatever, it just seems like they're just, yeah, they're not making sense to what they're doing. Why would they be rivals? Okay, let's listen.
Studios, but they are rivals. The Batman is a Matt Reeves thing that James Gunn isn't really on hand as much as he is on the DCU stuff. And that's because Matt Reeves is going to continue his universe while James Gunn, Peter Safran, and DC Studios are doing Batman Brave and the Bold.
It's just crazy. That's just crazy. Like you're gonna confuse the viewers. So you're gonna have a Batman here and a Batman here. Like, what the hell are you doing? Have one Batman. It's gonna be nice to see different. I guess they're putting the competition out there for themselves. So maybe there's something there that I've missed that might work. I don't know, but I just feel like it's just stupidness. Like stick to one. They should have just stuck to one Batman story, and as I said, build up Justice League. I don't know what they're gonna do, because if they're doing, I'm assuming they're trying to do that and have these. Seems like they're somewhat trying to build up a certain type of Justice League, or they said a super family, which I don't know what that is. Um, is it a or the Superman, Superwoman? Um, like you've got Supergirl, Superboy, Superman, and then you got the Man of Steel with the hammer. I don't know if they were talking about that because there's comic books that have, I think it's called Super Family, yeah, where it's all they're all super. They've got the power of basically Superman. I can't remember the name of the comic books. We've got so much out there. So I don't know. As I said, it seems like they're all over the place, which is confusing me. Which is why I'm saying what I'm saying. Like you're gonna confuse fans. Um, yeah,
Set in the same universe as Superman, set in the same universe as the rest of their content. And the big deal here is the fact that they've tried to work the Batman in, they've had discussions, it never worked. So they're going to keep them separate. And as they talked about it previously, there will be no cross marketing or cross contamination between these two, meaning that about a 10-month window before and after the release of each, they will remain quiet on the other one. So if
yeah,
you
but people still gonna be watching it and still gonna be like, "Where's Superman? I mean, where's Spider Man? I mean, Spider Man. Where's Batman?" They're gonna be like, "Where's Batman?" Because I'm assuming they're gonna have all the other characters amongst the other movies, right? So they're gonna be like, where's Batman? He's a main character." Unless they're not doing that, um, but people are gonna be like, "He's still missing." Um, so I don't know. They could be doing something different.
think about it,
Yeah,
the Batman Part 2 coming out in fall of 27, up until more or less the end of 28, when the marketing cycle for a film officially is done about 10 to 12 months after it's out, that's when they start hyping up the next one. Because you need toy productions, you need the toy lines, you need merchandise, you need all this, which takes about a year to a year and a half to get off the ground. And you can't have toy manufacturers underproducing for one while producing for one that's so far out because, again, it's got to hit store shelves at the right time. It's got to have that synergy that they like. So the way we're looking at it is Batman Brave and the Bold right now is probably one of the first projects in 2029. And while that seems far away, we're already almost in 26, meaning that we'll be hearing about the production of this project at the end of 27, definitely in 28, and probably right after the release of Super Family. I would assume they start hyping it up because by then they will have established who Batman is.
anyone out there watching, what is Super Family? I'm gonna Google it after this, but let me know. super family, because there's so many comic books out there, man. I'm assuming they're gonna take it from that.
At least who the actor is. And I even predict he's probably going to have a cameo in this. So I am really hyped with everything that they're working on, and their schedule seems varied enough and interesting enough that there's going to be no burnout. And I think that that's the right way to go about all of this. Because the schedule so far for the next few years looks solid, familiar, and new. And that's a good way to balance everything and introduce people to new concepts while also giving them a safe output that you know will pull eyes and, of course, box office money. Thank you for checking out that video.
So, from what I'm gathering, it seems like they're not building up Justice League like I thought they were. I thought they were gonna thought James Gunn was gonna do Superman, and he brought in certain select characters of the Justice League, and then he brought Supergirl in the end. So I weren't too mad that they said they're gonna do a Supergirl movie after. Um, but yeah, the other stuff they're talking about don't don't add up. So I'm not happy, put it that way, with what's going on. Um, I hope it works out, and I hope we do get. Either way, we're getting um, entertaining stuff. It seems like maybe I might not like it, and I know people didn't. So a lot of the people didn't like. It was 50-50. A lot of the older generation, I don't think liked Superman, the latest one, the James Gunn Superman. Um, the last Batman, I didn't like either. Um, yeah, so um, I know I've heard that they've picked an actor, as I said, for the Green Lantern. It's going to be a black Green Lantern. Um, so I hope they're still going to go with that, because the actor I've seen, he's with a singer, a black singer, who recently broke up with her ex. Got her name, because of T. Tasha, something like that. Anyway, but um, yeah, we'll see. That's the end of the video. Updates on the next 5 releases of the Marvel Studio films. If you like what I've seen regarding, if you like what you've seen regarding the video and my take on my views regarding what they're going forward with regarding DC, their next 5 films, do you feel like they should be building up Justice League like I do? Do you feel like they're going the right way with what they're doing? Yeah, drop me a message, a like, whatever it is. I am the missing link, and I'm out. Peace.